Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. The final video, at least as of right now, in the limited time Chamber of Memories and contract stages. We've cleared the two force limit stages. You could cheese it with vengeance all you want. And now we're moving into a different type of stage, the Chamber of Truth, number 8, which does not allow 5-star EX characters at all. So we are going back to the dark ages of old 5-star characters. These are two dark characters, and the idea for this stage is to use the Light 2.0 team, which if you've never heard that term before, I will show you the team in just a second after going over, what these enemies have. They don't have millions of HP. Thank God, because the old teams can't do millions of damage. Straight up cannot, especially the team we're about to use. They're weak to physical, which the Light 2.0 team is physical. They've got defense, guard rate, lowers our defense, lowers our guard power, heals, and then Beretta is damage focused. So if you've ever played the Light Tempered Edge stage, and we'll go and find that really fast, in the event tab, Tempered Edge, if you've ever at any point taken on the Runaway Bride and Precocious Bride stage, it is the same, with a bit more HP. And that's all there is to it. You were meant to use the Light 2.0 team, the Brides, here, and you're going to use it in the new stage. So let me build that team, and we'll be right back. Alright, so here is the Light 2.0 team as it was ran back in the day, back in June of 2022. We've got Bride Shizu, Groom Rimuru, Bride Shinsha, Bride Shion, who is skill fused, so she will start out with higher pierce power than what you would have if she's not. We've got Light Leon, and then the Masked Hero. And if you're asking the question, why do I call it Light 2.0? Well, because back in the day, before forces were a thing, every month released only a single element of units. So the first month it was all dark characters, and the next month it was all wind, and then the next month it was fire. And that's how they did it. And so the second time it came around where it was another batch of light characters, we called it the light meta, Light 2.0. Light 3.0 meta was the New Year's team with Raphael and Lumi and Protector Shuna. It was the third iteration of a light-focused team. That's why we call it that. Groom Rimuru is giving us protection gauge, orb changing. We are built for the turn 1 convert, so we got one blue and one orange. Both Shion and Rimuru convert one orange to green, and then Shinsha does one blue to green. And we start with 30 points, so we have enough to use both of their skills. Shizu, every time you use a skill, gives you higher and higher pierce rate up until it's guaranteed, and every time you use a skill for 3 turns, Shion gets extra pierce power. So you want to use as many skills as possible in 3 turns. And then Shion will be as good as she's going to get. So let's go ahead and jump in. Alright, so turn 1, we will use Shinsha's Orb Change. It gives a 20% skill point increase. It'll change that blue. Rimuru is going to give us extra green damage for that turn. And then we'll bring Shion in for Leon, and it doesn't really matter. And we'll go ahead and just run this. We are going to target Beretta first because she is the damage unit. And if we kill her, then Rimuru is really not that big of a deal. And we're already doing quite a bit of damage here. It's an old stage. Even with a bit higher HP, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So, at this point, we need to prioritize using as many skills as possible. That is the most important thing. Shizu will change 3 oranges and 3 blues to 6 greens. She was one of the first protectors to do a 3 and 3 change. Hakuro came before her, and he did the oranges, just like Toa does. Not a big deal. Alright, so here we will use Shion's Orb Change, because it's cheap. Alright, cool, there we go. We'll bring Light Leon in, and we will use his Orb Change, which is 1 orange, or 1 blue to 1 orange, so we kind of went backwards, so that's the skill right there. We'll use the Pierce Resistance Down skill, another skill, another orb change for Rimuru, and at this point, when we look at it, Shizu is now guaranteed Pierce. She starts at like 70 or something like that, And then Shion's Pierce Power is up to 58%, which that's pretty good. That's pretty good right there. And it will only go higher because we still have one more turn to use skills before it no longer stops adding to it. And I haven't seen this animation for a while, so let's go watch it. Rain ends. Okay, so there's the orb change, there's the pierce rate. We'll go ahead and send this. Boom, awesome. We've got an ult for Shion. Excellent, that's exactly what we want to do here. So now we could ult, and we would straight up kill. Like, we would definitely kill. Or we could do some funky things. Like this. So we're going to use the light buff on both of these characters. Alright. Let's bring Shinsha in. And, ooh. Let's bring... Ooh. That's an unfortunate hand right there, isn't it? Huh? We got another orange coming in. Oh well. Well, let's get her out anyways. So they both have the light buff. Let's rewind now, which is another skill, which then gives us another turn to use skills, essentially. And we're going to buff up our Pierce Power even more. Even more. And we'll send this on Rimuru because, you know, we've spread out the damage a bit. It's just that we need to be able to get another Shizu Protector next turn. And that's the important part, which if we had a full hand of greens, it would have been a lot easier. But this was not meant to be, apparently, because it gave us another orange. And... Leo... That's kind of shit right there, unfortunately. Okay, well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with not using skills here. Let's just do this. We can hold a light buff for all we care. So, alright, we've kind of wasted that turn 3.5. It's fine, though. We're still going to be able to kill. That's a lot of damage. Let's go ahead and send these. That gets us Shizu, and it'll give us enough points to now properly nuke. Alright, please just don't kill the hero, I guess, is the only important thing. Okay, cool. Alright, so we have an orb for Shinsha, we have an orb for Leon, that's important. So Leon, you're coming out. Shinsha, you're coming out of here. And now, we already have the light buff. We're going to apply the guaranteed crits, the Pierce Power, which is we're up to 64%. And then we'll go ahead and use Shizu, who's now at 110% Pierce rate. So we're over guaranteed. And now we're going to nuke. So we can send... let's send Shion on Rimuru, since he's got the most HP. We'll send Rimuru on Beretta, and then we'll follow up on Beretta. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of Shion orbs, but this should work. Sure, we'll watch it too. We'll watch all these ults. I don't remember the last time I've seen all these ults. All my love. And it's a little bit gross. It's a little bit gross. Does she actually kill Rimuru? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he did. This Rimuru will not be nearly as powerful, because he doesn't have a personal attack buff or a personal Pierce Power buff. But Beretta's also not full HP. So between this and these follow-up orbs, we should kill. Yeah, 91k, 1, 2, 3, and then the 200% orb with all of her power-ups. There we go, 97k. There we go. It took one extra turn, unfortunately, but you get the gist of how this team's supposed to run. Let's come back and let's try a different team now. Alright, next team to take this on is going to be the Dark 2.0 team. We've got Veldora. Our Rimuru is skill fused, so he costs slightly less. 40 points instead of 55 does make a difference. Isis, Sufia to take care of our oranges, Isis to take care of our blues, Milim, and then Dark Shinsha. We're running 2 of the skill point units, Milim and Soe, so we start off with 42 skill points, which allows us to use both the Isis buff and the Milim orb change turn 1. So that's going to be pretty impactful, because it gives us, it still gives us a gauge of Veldora, but it also gives us 100 skill points, so it does give us a lot more room to work as far as skills are concerned on turn 2. And, if we have all of the orbs covered, essentially. So there's the green buff. We'll bring Milim in for Rimuru. We'll bring Shinsha in for Sufia. Shinsha's dark buff gets stronger at turn 8. We do not go to turn 8. We do not go to turn 8. In fact, we don't even use her buff in this run. It's too strong. It's just way too powerful, because the Light 2.0 meta came out 5 months before this team right here. And, this is the anniversary team. It's the first Andy team, but it's a lot better than anything that came before it. So it's not going to really have any issues with this stage, at least damage-wise. So here, we've got the points. We've got a good orb change, so we're going to use Shinsha's debuff, which gives orbs extra permanent skill point increase, crit resistance down. We'll use Sufia's orb change to convert 2 of those. We'll bring Rimuru back in. No? Okay, we're going to leave it. All right, we're going to use Veldora. This will reset Milim. We'll use her orb change. Boom. And then we'll also use the Charm skill. Yeah, the extra 15% ult. We're going to get Milim and the Isis ult right here, so we don't really need the Charm effect. But I just want to use more skills, because Veldora, every time you use a skill, gives himself 5% magic buff, up to a cap of 70. So the more skills you use, just like how Shizu worked, where the more skills you use, the stronger she got, and Shion, Veldora does the same, so we want to max it out. This turn, pretty terrible, actually. Pretty unfortunate that we got no greens here. If we had another green orb coming in, I would have sent everything, because we would have been able to orb change it out, but we can't do anything with 4 blues and 2 oranges. Like, that's way beyond our doability for converting. So we're just going to spread some damage out here, send it on Rimuru, lower his health down a bit, not by a lot, but a bit. Turn 4 is coming up, and we have a pretty good hand. We have no Shinsha orbs, so we're not going to get an ult for her. But that does mean that we are free to bring in our converters and use them, and we can actually reset Milim without actually disturbing our 6-orb send, which is great. So Isis will come in first for Shinsha. We've used a second stack of her debuff, extra skill points, that's cool. Isis will convert that, and then we can use the green buff from Isis again. We'll bring Milim in for Isis now, and then we'll use her orb change, or Sufia's orb change first. We'll use Veldora to reset it. He's at 60%, which means we only need to use 2 more skills to max him out, and here's one of them. And do we use the charm again? We do. Alright, so there's Veldora now capped out at his full 70% magic damage. We're going to get an ult for Rimuru here, an ult for Shinsha here. No, not Shinsha, Sufia here. We've got a single target Isis ult in the back. The problem is, I don't have enough points to use all the buffs. We're just a little bit shy from using even the not as good Shinsha buff, because again, it gets better on turn 8. We're going to nuke now, though, on turn 5. So, it is what it is. We have enough to use the crit buff, the crit damage, the ult damage, and then the attack buff with Dark Milim, and that will be enough. Yeah, we're 15 points shy, unfortunately. It's going to be okay. If we still have triple ults here, and that's what's more important. And we'll still have the 70% magic buff from Veldora as well. So we're going to take Shinsha out for Isis, buff with just the 2 buffs, and then the Veldora, and we're still going to kill, because it's just way too much power. So buff, Veldora's already capped out. If he wasn't, then he probably would be here. And then we'll go ahead and send the AoE from Rimuru first, just to lower their health down, and then we'll spread out the 2 single targets, and then we'll have some follow-up orbs if they are necessary, which I don't think they are. So Rimuru, he does 85k. Okay. Isis does 116 and Beretta's dead. And then Milim does 170 and Rimuru is dead. So there we go. Pretty easy. I mean, you don't even need Rimuru skill fused. I don't think you need Milim skill fused either, to be perfectly honest with you. It's just the raw power from this team is way too much for this still early focused stage to handle. And the final team we're going to use for this fight is the Fire 2.0 team. Toa, Hero, Violet, Benimaru. We've got Christmas Shizu, who did technically release during this meta as well. The only unit we're missing from the pure meta is Velzard, which we could bring, because she's an AoE. We could just use her instead, but we're going to use Violet. And then we've got free-to-play Traya, because she's another fire character. If you don't have Traya, She's only here for the turn 1 orb convert, and that's literally it. So if you don't have her, just bring Dark Melon. Or if you have her, free-to-play Tsubasa from the Idol collab. Anyone that can just convert the turn 1 is going to work fine. She doesn't do anything else here, so don't worry too much about it. Violet, with the attack buff, the crit, the pierce, the fire attack, the lots of ults we're going to have because of Toa making a whole bunch of oranges is also just going to overwhelm the stage, because the Fire 2.0 team came out the month after the anniversary team. So it's also way more powerful than the stage is meant to handle for the light team. So turn 1, 6 greens because of Trya. Cool, that gets us a Toa. Not Toa, Toa. I don't know what I'm talking about. Gets us a Toa, it gets us a decent amount of ult gauge, and we've got a 2-2-2 spread, which means that we're going to have 3 ults next turn. Toa gives us 40 skill points when we use her, which means that we can do a number of things here. Crit, pierce, attack, the pierce power, and the AoE buff, which doesn't really help Violet, but the pierce power does, and then the orange damage, and the instant damage. So now, use Toa. Full hand of oranges that are now buffed by 50% attack. It's going to get us 3 ults right here. We're doing a lot of damage to Beretta. And Violet's doing, almost 20k a hit. So we're looking good. I mean, Beretta's under half HP on turn 2. Plus the burn effects. So that's just additional damage right there. Now, we have a full hand, which is even better. We don't need to use Toa right now. So we're going to use the fire buff and the fire resistance down, because Shizu is skill fused. And I think we're just going to send it, because why not? We could use the extra stack of burn from Benimaru. I probably should have used it on Beretta, but oh well. She's going to die anyways, and this gets us a full hand. So it just helps us do a bit extra damage on Rimuru. So 22k there. Alright, fine. Violet, 94k against Rimuru. Benimaru, I flipped over to Beretta. 35k. Doesn't kill, but the follow-ups from Violet do. So now we're moving on to Rimuru, but we don't kill him. And now he's going to triple heal. 1, 2, 3. Which, if you were unprepared, would be a problem. But we are prepared, because we have a Toa. We have a good orb change hand. We're going to reapply the attack buff and another stack of burn on this Rimuru. We're going to use Toa after we bring in Hero. Going to give us 40 points, give us a full hand of oranges, and more importantly, using those skill points, we're going to put another stack of burn, and we're going to give Violet 3 more orbs, so we're guaranteed to get her ult next turn. And she still has the crit pierce and everything like that. So, yeah, we're doing 11k. He's got extra defense versus Beretta, so he doesn't take as much. 22.5, he's down to half HP, the burn kicks in, he doesn't heal, and now he's just straight up dead. So, we're missing the crit pierce, we're going to use the fire attack instead. It doesn't matter, he's going to die. So there are 3 teams you can use to take this stage on using the older non-EX characters. There are other teams that can certainly do this stage because it's not very strong. So if you have those teams and you use them, put them down in the comments below so other people can take a look at it. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.